This is Americana Podcast, the 51st state. Hello and welcome, Americana Podcast. Today, we're turning our ears to one of the finest living storytellers in American roots music, James McMurtry. For decades, he has carved out a space where songs are more than melodies. They are gritty character studies, moral landscapes, and moments of hard-won clarity wrapped in crushing hope. McMurtry's career is storied and steady. From the early years of his debut record to the lived-in wisdom of recent albums, he's built a catalog that feels like roads traveled and lives observed. His songs don't just tell stories. They inhabit them. And at the heart, his songwriting bristles with honesty, empathy, and an unflinching eye for detail. James McMurtry was born in Fort Worth, Texas in 1962. After his parents divorced when he was young, most of his childhood and adolescence in Northern Virginia, primarily in Leesburg, then boarded at a school in Virginia for high school. During his college years, he studied English and Spanish at the University of Arizona in Tucson and began playing his original songs in small venues there. After a brief stint traveling, including a time lived in Alaska, he returned to Texas, which is where he spent time in San Antonio working odd jobs while playing in bars and open mics, and gradually forged a path as a working songwriter and performer. For much of his adult life, he's been based in Lockhart, Texas, just south of Austin, though his music has carried him far beyond. In this episode, our host, Robert Earl Keen, talks with James McMurtry about his long journey from early guitar lessons and teenage gigs to his first album, Too Long in the Wasteland, and to his latest album, The Black Dog and the Wandering Boy. This episode explores how he balances the weight of his talent with the often unglamorous reality of making a living as a roots musician, as well as his presence as a critical but often under-celebrated figure in Americana and all the lessons that come with it. This episode is about the influences that shaped his voice and why it's in his hands the lives of working class people in small town America become urgent, heartbreaking, and beautiful.
Hello, Americana Podcast listeners. I'm Robert Earl Keen, and welcome to Americana Podcast, the 51st state. Today, our guest is James McMurtry. Welcome, James.
Good to be here, Robert.
All right, man. James, before we dig into the meat and potatoes of today's episode, I'd want to tell our listeners a little bit about you. James McMurtry was born in Fort Worth, Texas. He is an Americana singer-songwriter. His music is more precisely considered folk rock. He is an eloquent and seasoned guitarist, a band leader, an actor, Daisy Miller in Lonesome Dove, and a voice actor, Ghost Town, 24 Hours in Terralingua. Why do I always say Terralingua? Is it, there's no A?
Oh, it's like a terrapin.
Yeah.
It kind of starts out that way.
Yeah. Anyway, Ghost Town, 24 Hours in Terralingua. James is the son of a novelist and an English professor. He got his first guitar when he was 7, and his mother taught him 3 chords. According to James, he stole everything else he knows about music by ear or by watching other people. A good example of his expressive guitar playing is on a May of 24 episode of E-Town and his performance of his song, Jackie. Check it out. James started performing his own songs while studying English and Spanish at the University of Arizona in Tucson. You can learn more about his lifestyle on Wikipedia. Look it up. However, let's move on with his musical history. James has 14 albums, 11 studio albums, 2 live, and 1 best-of compilation. In our opinion, these albums are brilliantly written and impeccably produced. They span a 36-year career, beginning with Too Long in the Wasteland and catching us all up to the present with his June of 2025 release of this incredible, awe-inspiring tour de force, The Black Dog and the Wandering Boy. This is, again, in our opinion, Americana Podcasters, the unrivaled surprise stunner of 2025. Rolling Stone says James is one of America's greatest living songwriters. American Songwriter agrees and claims James is one of this generation's most unflinchingly potent and powerfully erudite recording artist. All that said, James, let me officially welcome you to Americana Podcast, the 51st State. Welcome, James.
Guess I made it now.
Yep.
That's good.
And we're so glad to see you today. Hey, James, so, Jesus, I've known you for a long time, and I'm aware you never worry about living up to expectations, but you've created a truly powerful body of work without a lot of help or support from the industrial musical complex. What do you consider the driving force behind your effort?
Fear. Fear of irrelevance. And fear of not having a job.
Yeah.
Which the two kind of go hand in hand in our trade. You know?
Yeah, well, I totally agree. However, there's got to be something in, like, I don't know, an inner James somewhere that's like saying you want to do this or something. If we were talking about other people's expectations, you have your own expectations for yourself, right?
Well, they change. There might be an inner James emerging at this point, because we get to the age we start to suddenly appreciate what we have, and I used to complain about the job a lot, and David Grissom straightened me out one day. He said, "James, we get to play music," and that's kind of how I look at it now. Is I go to Amsterdam, I get the regular travel snafus like everybody else gets, and I get mad about it, but then there's people there that want to hear me play. Mm-hmm. And that kind of negates all the negative stuff. Mm-hmm.
And so, once you finish the show and say, like, it's like, a smashing show that you didn't even expect that response, does that push you on, or do you just enjoy the moment?
I've tried to learn to enjoy it. I used to shut it out. I don't know what it was, but I stayed drunk for about 30 years, so I just kind of. Yeah.
Was that back? I want to ask you this. Was this back in the Otis years?
Well, I had some Otis years. Yeah, well, there were Otis times, which I won't really go into.
Yeah,
but but about 3 years ago, it just kind of, not so much I quit alcohol, but it quit me. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing. So I can kind of feel my brain coming back if it was ever there to start with, and I do look at the positive side more.
Right. And does it help you physically, like with your playing?
Definitely.
Yeah.
When Isbell talked about this too, he says, he'd look at old video of him where he thought he was just nailing it, and he realized he wasn't. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought he was. I thought he was fine when he was drunk.
Right. Yeah. Well, some people do all right, and then some people take it too far, and it gets weird, and then that kind of, these days on the internet, that gets out there in the internet.
Oh yeah. So, it's all immediate these days.
So hard to knock that one down. But as far as like even your singing,
everything's just a little better. But I think I mostly drank to kill the stage fright, and then at some point the metabolism got weird where I got more stage fright when I was drinking. Mm-hmm. And that put me in a real quandary because I was scared to stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
so
anyway, we got through that.
Did the stage fright begin at the beginning when you first started playing?
It's kind of, when I first started playing years ago, it was terrible. Mm-hmm. Now I'm kind of comfortable out there because the phone's not going to ring. Nobody's going to yell at me.
Right. Yeah. I always looked at it like, when we had dinner at the dinner table in my family, my dad just pretty much took up the floor, and I always thought in terms of like, when I first even started, I thought, this is a place where my dad's not going to interrupt me. As a matter of fact, nobody's going to interrupt me if I let him, and so I always felt like this is my one spot to really say what I want to say, be heard when I want to be heard.
You always had a command. It took me a while to realize that the stage is a safe place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
in some ways.
Yeah, I still feel that way. Although sometimes I get a little bit shooken up as far as like, the one that shakes me up the most is, you ever play for like fourth graders, fifth graders?
Yeah, that's the scariest thing in the world. I have the utmost respect for teachers. Yeah, especially at the grade school level.
Yeah.
Because those kids see right through you.
They do. I mean, I ended up always doing is just trying to make up songs about pizza. About the only thing.
Good for you. I wasn't that quick.
Do you have this? Just like I don't know. I have one thing I'd like to catch before I really get into some of what I really want to do, which is talk about your newest release, The Black Dog and the Wandering Boy, but your observational powers, like for instance, like the new on the new record, South Texas Lawman, or some of your descriptions even back further on older records like Valley Road or Choctaw Bingo. Those are so tight and clean and clear. I'm just wondering, like, how much time does James spend just running around looking and talking to people?
I think that observation power comes from moving around a lot as a kid and moving around a lot as an adult too. So I've always had a kind of an outsider's perspective. Mm-hmm. So I'll see details that people that live there have forgotten, don't even notice anymore.
Yeah.
And it's a good trick for a writer.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, is it one of those things where you consciously are picking up, these bits and pieces, or just?
I don't think it's I don't think I have to concentrate on it. It's just something, details appear to me because I hadn't seen them before, so I'll notice them. I'm seeing these things the first time.
Right.
Somebody that lives in whatever small town I'm talking about has seen it a million times, so where he just tunes it out.
Mm-hmm. So I'll give you a good example on, I don't remember what record it's on, but that great song, You Got to Me, the kid with the bicycle and wants to smoke and sort of thing. It's like you're there when you
that dates it, back when they had paper boys.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. But that's just, and even the description of the limo with the cologne and all that sort of stuff.
Something, I got that, there was a limo driver pulled up behind a gig at, I think we did one of those things at Shady Grove in Austin, and some guy came up with a limo trying to, sell us his service, and Ronnie Johnson leaned in there and came back out and said, that thing smells like cocaine, sweat, and aftershave. So I stole that from a bass player at that time. that was a Ronnie Johnson observation.
Well, you held on to it at least, and you put it in a song.
Anybody says anything around me is have to get in a song.
Another thing about your songwriting that I think this is really from the beginning and very steady. Over time, there's a continuous learning theme in your songs, and some of your songs you sing about you've employed in your life and in your career. And as it started out with this abundance of raw talent, and you've molded it into, quote unquote, one of our greatest living songwriters, this learning lesson, is that something that you, came out of the womb knowing, or?
I don't think I knew it consciously.
Yeah.
But I know it now. You got to keep learning. You got to stay curious, or you're going to get real old and real sick real fast.
We need to write that one down too as well, James. So the whole learning theme starts with, painting by numbers and Too Long in the Wasteland, and then you learned your lesson well in Valley Road.
Yeah.
Valley Road. I was just wondering if you have to think in terms of being able to put this in a song and explain it as if the listener can make their own judgment, as opposed to some of those learning songs drive me crazy because they're too didactic or they're too preachy, and I don't ever see you being preachy in a song at all.
I try not to. That's why a lot of my songs don't make the point that I would make. They make the point the song will make.
Right.
You can change the whole meaning of the song just for the sake of a better rhyme or something that sings better, and you got to go with that because your job is to make the best song you can.
Sure.
So if I try to put my point across, a lot of times I'll get a sermon. I have to toss it. Steve Earle is so either lucky or talented that way, where he can make his point and still have a good song.
Right.
But you got to watch the preachy stuff.
And it's ubiquitous. I mean, you hear pop songs and country songs, forever.
Oh,
yeah, it's just like, okay, I've heard that, And you express in your new song, I don't even have any business being in this business anymore?
I think it's a question. Yeah, I put it as a question. Do I have I any business
Yeah.
being in
Yes,
this business
you did
anymore?
Put it,
I don't know how that. I had to rhyme it with something.
Right. But as we both know, one can take a beating in this music business, and as my producer Clara Rose likes to say, rough diamonds are still diamonds. So, what are some hard lessons or rough diamonds you've learned in this?
In the business?
Yeah. Well, just in life and in this business, you know.
Really just kind of ignore everybody's stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're in a youth-oriented business, but we're not young anymore.
Right.
But if you really look at it, it shouldn't be so youth-oriented, at least not in the States, because our biggest demographic is baby boomers, and we're all old now.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, true.
So, you know, so I mean, that's why the last two records I've written a lot about aging, and it seems to connect with a lot of people.
Right. Yeah.
Out there.
You definitely do.
But the real trick, but you still need those young people. And that's the tricky part is you got to make being old cool to the youth. And that's hard.
That is tough. Yeah.
But,
I'm not figured that one out for sure. When did you start working on your latest?
Well, I always start working on records when my tour draw falls off.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, in the old days, we used to, the business model when we started was, you know, you make a record, you put it out, you tour to support record sales. Hopefully you sell enough records to live off the royalties. That never happened with me. I didn't sell that many, but I did get a toehold on the road. And eventually Napster and Spotify came along and just obliterated the old model. And so now we put out records to promote tour dates.
Right.
It's kind of upside down. So I just keep touring until suddenly, you know, the draw starts falling off a little bit. I'm not getting as many offers as I was. Then it's time to make a record and put it out so the press will write about it and the radio will talk about it and people will know we're coming to town and they'll buy tickets. So I guess that must have happened sometime around 23.
Yeah.
And so I got Dixon to come down and produce a record. I guess we started in May of 24, something like that.
Right. So to back up just a little bit, you got into were you streaming your playing and singing?
During lockdown, I was streaming, because we couldn't tour.
Right.
So, I would do like an hour on Wednesdays and another hour on Sundays. And I found that the 1 p.m. Central on Sunday is real good because you get the Europeans that hadn't gone to bed yet, and you get the Californians that are just getting up. Oh. Yeah. That gets you your biggest slice of the globe, the English-speaking globe.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And so that continued through the lockdown? Or
Yeah, until when the lockdown went away and we started touring again. And I wasn't going to drag all that streaming stuff with me out on the road. Yeah. But I may start doing that again just to get to more people.
So it worked out pretty well?
It worked well, yeah.
I know quite a few people that watched that. I mean, I watched it, and I know a lot of people that picked up on it. It seemed to be, just the fact that you're actually sitting there playing the guitar to me or whomever, the one person, you know.
Well, I had the dogs in the house, and everybody likes dogs, so so it got popular.
Right, but you were working that pretty much on your own. I mean, as far as like,
Kelly, my partner, was helping me. She would sit there and like chat with everybody on Facebook and let them know what's going on.
Yeah. Did you just pick the songs at random?
Yeah, I would pick them. I had a kind of a set playlist that I would vary from slightly. Seemed like I wrote those. I wrote the sets down. So I don't do that in my live show usually, but I wrote them down and then I would sign them and sell them on the internet.
You don't write a set down?
I generally, when by the time we hit the road, we kind of have a set thing, and we'll vary it by a song or two here and there. But I don't deviate too much from it because set flow can really get you in trouble. Yeah, true. If you do it wrong, it's really wrong.
And you're also changing from electric to acoustic.
Yeah, I got so many guitars because if I could just really play, I wouldn't need so many guitars. David Grissom can tour Europe with one guitar and two pedals.
Yeah,
in a tiny little car.
Yeah, that is my goal. However, that's never going to happen because I just keep I like this guitar. Well, I like this guitar.
Well, and then some songs are guitar specific.
Yeah.
You want the guitar that you play that song in so you don't have to think.
Yeah, right.
It slows you down.
We've not done this before, James, but I'd like you to talk about, as we just mentioned about the Black Dog and the Wandering Boy, if we could touch on all 10 songs.
We can try.
Just kind of break it down one by one. We'll start with the first one and go all the way to the last one like that. But I just wanted to make sure you're cool with that.
Yeah.
Okay. We're about to dive into his newest and personally my favorite in a long line of unbelievably brilliant records from our guest artist, James McMurtry, released in June of 20. That's right?
Yeah.
June 2025, The Black Dog and the Wandering Boy. The first song is what I like to say the best giddy-up song ever. It's just like, you're ready to get going, you put this song on. It's just called Laredo, but in parentheses, it's called Small Dark Something. And I'm not going to ask you what the Small Dark Something is. I just want to know about living in a motel called Motel.
Well, John D. Graham wrote that song, so you'd have to ask him.
Is that right?
And he might not want to tell you.
Yeah.
But it got on the record because John D. had some health problems, and there was a benefit John D. Hoot Night at the Hole in the Wall, and we were invited to play on it. And we used to play Laredo in the set when we toured with John D. in Europe, and but we hadn't done it in a long time. And we're set up in the studio at Wire Recording, and we already had the drum sounds dialed in, so we just recorded the rehearsal. And it sounded pretty good, and I thought, well, let's send that to Pat McDonald up in Sturgeon Bay, have him blow some Timbuk 3 harp on it and sing some harmony. Mm-hmm. And he did, and at the end of by the time we got everything recorded and started to mix, that song sounded better than several of the originals that I'd done, so we put that on the record.
It's one of those ones that you can just talk about all afternoon about like what's going on with that song.
Yeah, his whole thing, I think he probably did live in a motel called Motel at one point.
I have. I did a long time ago when I just got out of high school, so that was that hit home with me for sure. So the second song, South Texas Lawman, great song, beautiful song. Definitely, touches on aging, that sort of thing, like you mentioned. But tell me about the Cinco Peso.
Well, Cinco Peso, that means he was a Texas Ranger at one point, because the Texas Ranger badges have always been made out of a Cinco Peso coin. Mm-hmm. But the song came, it's a co-write, a friend of mine named Dwight Hobart, he actually owns the Liberty Bar in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. He was a house guest of ours a long time ago, back in the 70s. I was a little kid. And while he was there, he wrote a poem about his father's attitude towards South Texas. And his dad was a rancher from the Panhandle, and he really didn't care for South Texas much. But it's all in this poem that I found years later, like 30 years later. I just happened to find the piece of cardboard that he wrote it on. Mm-hmm. And there was a line in it about South Texas where men hunt quail from horseback and cheat on their wives. Mm-hmm. And I just ran with it and thought, well, what if he has 2 wives? And Fred Hobart was the guy, Dwight's father, and Dwight said, Fred, he was fond of saying that Victoria is not a county, it's a principality.
Wow.
So that's where that comes from.
Yes. So I looked it up. So Rio Bravo, are we talking about the Texas side, or are we talking about the Mexican side?
There's a colonia down there, a little bitty town called Rio Bravo on the Texas side.
Okay, yeah. Because I thought, I bet you that's it. It's on the Mexico side.
I just saw it on the map. I've never been there.
Yeah. So I can't
remember if I've been to Raymondville or not either.
Yeah.
Wasn't Alan Dameron from Raymondville?
I don't know.
I don't know. He's from Duval County.
I've been to Raymondville though, down there with my quail hunting friends and stuff like that. I want to say hi to my quail hunting friends right now. And as a matter of fact, my quail hunting friend Will Vogt had that as our Will's pick for the Terry Allen, Joe Harvey and Terry Allen episode that we just had. We had a 2-part episode, but he was on part 1. So Will's pick was South Texas Lawman. Yeah. The Color of Night. This one I was still working out in my mind, but just the part about the cinder block wall, are we talking about self-imposed isolation or jail? Or?
I was just thinking a really, really cheap motel.
Oh, yeah.
But it could be jail. I mean, because the thing, the songs they're really as much about the listener as they are the writer or the singer. So the listener is free to interpret.
Right, yeah. I agree. So when you're talking about The Color of Night, you pick sort of symbols that work. What's the other one?
I was just looking for the feeling, like nobody's going to pick up the phone. It kind of comes from the days when you didn't have your phone in your pocket. The phone was on the wall.
Right, yeah.
And you could call and let it ring all night.
Right, yeah.
Nobody pick it up.
Yeah, that one has a great feel, the whole Color of Night. I like that one a lot. So in the middle, it doesn't mention the cinder block wall. It mentions something else that I just never could quite catch, something out in a parking lot.
Oh, yeah, a few drops of blood in the parking lot dirt.
Yeah.
That's just about persevering through the loneliness or whatever it is that's got you stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so Pinocchio in Vegas. My friends would point out the obvious, almost comical lines here. But for me, there's an almost dreamlike quality that comes from the hard-hitting narrative into this heartfelt wishing, wondering section, as in, who were my grandmother's friends?
Well, my father passed away a couple of years ago, and before that, a couple of my bandmates both lost their fathers while they were traveling with me. Actually, all three of them have now. Darren's father. But Tim Holt, I had to fly him back from Portland one time. His dad died. He had to go to the funeral, and he got back somewhere. He joined us up somewhere else down the road, and he was reminiscing. He says, the weird thing is now, if I got questions about who the neighbors were back in the 50s, I can't call them and ask them because there's nobody there.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, there's this hard-hitting narrative, and then there's that whole dreamlike quality, which is sort of a transition into what you would be thinking maybe by yourself or just driving down the road or something.
It's kind of two stories jammed together. Because you can do that in song. It can be non sequitur and still work as song.
Yeah. Well, you can do that in sequitur. I have a problem that's busting off to the
theory, anybody can.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned that lesson from Prine because that great song was, Jesus, the Missing Years. He's got that whole weird narrative with Jesus, and then he's got that chorus that doesn't seem to have anything to do with the rest of it, but it's gorgeous.
Right. Yeah.
Billy bought some popcorn. Charlie bought a car. Someone almost bought the farm, but it didn't get that far. That thing stands on its own, but it also helps out the Missing Years song.
Yeah. I'm not quite there yet, James. I'll have to tell you, man. So
just keep throwing stuff at the wall.
I'm talking to you, man, I'm learning every second. So we come to Annie. This one, without looking it up to really understand what's going on, Annie and Nebraska, as opposed to what's going on with the story as being told.
No, the Annie and Nebraska relate directly to the story because the Annie refers to Ann Compton. It was an ABC News reporter who was on Air Force One on 9/11.
Oh, I see.
So she was in the entourage with the president, and she went up in the air, and nobody told her where the plane was going or why, and it has to duck around because it thinks, they thought there were missiles being fired, and they would have to drop 10,000 feet and all kinds of weird maneuvers. Finally, it lands off at Air Force Base in Nebraska, and she gets off the plane and calls the office, and of course Peter Jennings is on the air. He's trying to figure out, everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. Nobody knows. And Compton's got the scoop, but she doesn't really know much more. She just knows where he is because we've been, nobody's heard from the president all day long. And so she called the office and they put her on the air live with Peter Jennings, and you can hear her say, Peter, can you hear me? And he said, I can hear you, Annie. What are you doing in Nebraska?
That clears up a lot.
Well, everybody's forgotten that, but and I didn't see it at the time, but I read about it later.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing, all American songwriters are supposed to have our "We Will Never Forget 9/11" song.
Mm-hmm.
I turned mine in about 25 years late, but
thanks for that. Because that was I couldn't pull that together.
Very few people will get that.
Yeah, that was like something like, is this a loved one? Is this a family member? I couldn't put that together. And all right, so we get down to the title cut, The Black Dog and the Wandering Boy.
Asked me, did he ever talk to you about his hallucinations? I said, well, no, not specifically. I knew he had them, but I didn't know what they were.
Mm-hmm.
She says, he never talked about the black dog and the wandering boy. I said, no, but I'm going to use that.
Mm-hmm.
So then when it became time to title the record, I wanted something to stand out, something that nobody else was doing. So,
yeah.
Which is lucky, because I was going to call it Find the Human.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, like Hayes Carl has a record out called We're Only Human or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, didn't want two humans out there at the same time.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Something bad could happen.
No, it's a strong title, but it's also a really, really strong song. So within the song itself, you have the stuff underneath the stairs and that. Is that also from your stepmom's description?
No, that's just something I made up. I mean, obviously something bad happened to this kid, and maybe it happened under the stairs. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And the Weird Al song?
Well, another one, Rides the Bus, fit the meter.
Mm-hmm.
And
I see.
And Weird Al had the song, and I had to footnote it, so I didn't want to get sued by Weird Al. I don't want to get on the wrong side of that guy.
No, I wouldn't either. But I was thinking, okay, this is really close to this other song, but I didn't know the Weird Al song, so it was.
Yeah, he parodied Another One Bites the Dust with Another One Rides the Bus.
Yeah.
If I could just get big enough to write a Weird Al parody.
Yeah, well, if you can just get good enough to out clever Weird Al, I'm all for it. I got a couple of questions for back to Coeur. I'm going to say
Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say Coeur d'Alene. See,
well, I pronounced it wrong. I didn't know the regional pronunciation was Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
So you really, to make it rhyme with gasoline, you gotta sing like Steve.
Coeur d'Alene.
But I sing it how I do anyway.
I get it. I was just afraid that I was like missing the local pronunciation or something.
I think the local is Coeur d'Alene.
Coeur d'Alene, yeah. It works in a song as well. I've done that before. So, So here's another thing I missed in this song was I was thinking that your chorus there was "Gotta Get Gone" for about 5 listens, and then I heard "Gotta Get Known," which made everything different.
Well, that's what we try to do in this business, and the poor filmmakers have to.
Yeah,
they got it worse than us. They got a lot more overhead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
to ply their trade.
Yeah, yeah, and just that anxiety that's going on with "Gotta Get Known," "Gotta Get Known." That's a strong statement there, you know.
Well, yeah, if you're trying to pay rent in Los Angeles.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so is there some? Did you spend some time in Los Angeles?
No, we just we tour through there. My dad spent a lot of time out there. He made his living as a screenwriter for the most part. His books didn't sell that well until Lonesome Dove, and they didn't sell that well after Lonesome Dove. So it was Hollywood kept him going.
Right.
He was a first draft man mostly.
Oh, so that means
he was the guy
that writers?
Yeah, he was the guy that would take a book the first step towards being a movie. But he wasn't good at the shot-for-shot breakdown that directors need. So he would always get fired. But a first draft was decent money back then. So that kept him going.
And the first movie was HUD, but it went by another name on
well, it was Horseman Passed By.
Horseman Passed By.
He didn't script that one. He just sold the rights, and that got him a new Chevrolet, which he needed because the old one got totaled. But he did get to co-script Last Picture Show, and that's what got him the toehold in the screenwriting business.
Oh, I
after
see.
That, that's kind of that meant that he didn't have to teach at the college level anymore, which was great because he hated that. Because everybody he taught was trying to get out of Vietnam, and he didn't mind. He didn't blame them, but they didn't want to be taught. So tangent.
But Last Picture Show was my favorite movie from the first time I saw it forever. I still like watching it. So really well done, beautiful. Pretty much, I think, captures that whole section of Texas, And
I think that was a better movie than it was a book.
The book was funnier.
The book's good. Well, there's pieces of it, but it's kind of shoved together. And the reason being, he wrote it in a big hurry to pay the doctor bills for my delivery.
Oh, wow. There we go.
So, yeah.
There's something you don't learn every day anywhere, but here on Americana Podcast, the 51st State with James McMurtry.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our show shortly. Here at Americana Podcast, we are always exploring the old and the new, and we wouldn't be able to do that without the good help of our friend, Will Vogt. You'll have noticed that Will has done a lot of selections about James McMurtry. We're very excited that this episode has kind of come full circle, that we get to interview James. And Will's influence is a really big part of that. We're very grateful for Will's input, and with that, I would like to introduce his next pick, which is Accidentally Like a Martyr by Warren Zevon from the album Excitable Boy. With his long overdue induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Warren Zevon has finally gotten the recognition he truly deserves. For years, his legacy has survived through the familiar howl of werewolves in London and the immortal phrases, "Send lawyers, guns, and money, and I'll sleep when I'm dead." And as he advised towards the end of his too short life, enjoy every sandwich. It's ironic that the songs from the shallow end of his catalog are best known, when the deep end reflects more accurately his wit, intelligence, and ability to find beauty in the darker corners of life. Zevon has left a legacy as one of America's sharpest songwriters. A man who has at his best when he sang about heartbreak, absurdity, and the reality of survival in Los Angeles in classic songs like Carmelita, Desperados Under the Eaves, and Muhammad's Radio. Zevon has always been held in the highest regard by his peers. Jackson Browne was an early supporter and still champions his work today. Long before Zevon's own record broke through, Linda Ronstadt was introducing his songs to a national audience with her powerful versions of Poor, Poor, Pitiful Me, Carmelita, and Hasten Down the Wind, which became the title track of her 1976 album. Even Bob Dylan, who rarely covers contemporary songwriters, paid tribute by performing several Zevon classics, including Accidentally Like a Martyr, Lawyers, Guns, and Money, and Mutineer during his never-ending tour in 2002. Will was introduced to Zevon's music when he first heard The Excitable Boy in early 1978, and he still considers the two shows he saw that spring among the highlights of a long and memorable list of live music experiences. The first show at the 400-seat Bijou Cafe in March of that year was an up-close look at the power of Zevon's words and music, and was literally spellbinding. The fact that he returned to Philadelphia less than 2 months later was proof that his star was rising along an incredible trajectory. At that show, Zevon was able to command the much larger Academy of Music, nearly 3,000 seats, with ease, holding an audience in the palm of his hand through a mix of sharp wit, tight musicianship, and an unmistakable edge that made both the man and the music impossible to forget. Zevon was a complex combination of identities. A classically trained pianist, a brilliant lyricist whose words were influenced by a wide range of literary sources, and a true rock and roller who certainly embraced the lifestyle with enthusiasm. Most importantly, beneath all the dark humor and swagger, he could turn a phrase that could quietly break your heart. The softer side is revealed in Accidentally Like a Martyr, one of the most vulnerable songs in his catalog. The song, from Excitable Boy, is a masterclass in restraint, a simple melody carrying lyrics that cut deep. The hurt gets worse and the heart gets harder. There's no pretense or clever disguise, just the sound of someone trying to make peace with what's gone. It's the kind of song that sneaks up on you, sad, elegant, and true in the way only Warren Zevon could make it. In the deep catalog of Zevon's remarkable songs, it stands the test of time and still lives in Will's heart, thus making it Will's pick.
By the way, I'm Robert Earl Keen, and you're listening to Americana Podcast of 51st State. Our guest today is songwriter James McMurtry. So we're down to number 8 of 10 songs on the Black Dog and the Wandering Boy. This one, just can't get over this one, The Sons of the Second Sons. And you mentioned before that this came from, actually some kind of history lesson or something.
I can't remember, but I did know that, and I guess my mother probably told me that, a lot of the early American industrialists and rich guys, started out in Europe, and they had to come over here because they weren't going to inherit. They were the second son, and over there they got primogeniture. Only the eldest son gets the inheritance. So these guys come over here with a little bit of money and try to get a business going.
Yeah, so you're talking about Vanderbilt and Carnegie and those guys, right?
Or Alexander Hamilton.
Even earlier.
Yeah. I think cod fishing was a big deal back in the
cod
18th
fishing.
century. Yeah. Salt cod. That's how you got across the ocean.
You mean like you fished your way across the ocean?
No, but there were companies. The Basques figured out how to salt down cod so it would keep. So you'd fill these ship's holes full of cod, and that way you'd have something to eat on the transatlantic crossing. And somebody had to catch those fish.
Yeah.
Somebody had to clean them.
Yeah. So that covers the peasantry and the serfs. Is that as well? Is that broken down that way? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if I thought it completely out. But,
I mean, I saw it as kind of a division, like a third, as in like the people, the landed gentry from Britain, and then the peasantry, and then the serfs below that. And that's what that's how.
A lot of people came over escaping serfdom. Some people were indentured. Some people were enslaved.
Right. Yeah. It's a great song. It's a great history lesson. I just loved it. And I don't think I've ever heard anything like it as far as like just in song like that, Really great.
Maybe there'll be more of them.
Yeah, maybe so. Sailing Away, number 9. One of a number of your very singable songs, although one of a number of your living in a lonely world, somewhat autobiographical
This could
pieces?
be bits of autobiography. It's just it's kind of a road song. But mostly I had to find a song to put, because I rhymed Pentagon with printed on, and I was real proud of that, so I had to have a song to put it in. Well, Stephen Bruton used to tell me that Groucho Marx was the greatest American songwriter because he rhymed appendectomy with send a check to me.
Oh, nice. I think we can, as songwriters or poets or something, we can all, we're like the only ones that are going to pat ourselves on the back for that kind of thing.
Well,
it's like,
That's true. It'll go right by everybody else.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So sometimes it lasts longer than, the applause at a show. I'll say that.
Yeah. Whatever gets the work done.
Whatever gets the work done. What I also love about Sailing Away is basically the lyrical fade out where he's walking through the house, opening the doors, looking, and just.
Have you ever had that dream?
Oh, yeah, right. Yes, yeah, there you go. Yeah. It was, and as a song, it works it's surprising because you keep thinking it's going to like come back around to something else, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's really cool, really, really cool. And then the last song of The Black Dog and the Wandering Boy, we're talking about Broken Song of Freedom, which is...
Broken Freedom song, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say this is one of a handful of your totally country western style songs.
Kristofferson wrote that song.
Is that right?
Yeah, Kris had passed away not too long before one of the last sessions we did for this record. So I guess that's why I put that song on there. Also, when he died, I started reading about him, and I didn't know that. First, he'd been a Rhodes Scholar, I knew that, and he'd been an Army Ranger, I knew that, but I didn't know that the Army offered him a position at West Point teaching English Lit. Because they valued his knowledge of the English language, I guess. It wasn't long ago I saw a sticker on somebody's pickup that said, "My soldier defends freedom for your honor student," as if they were mutually exclusive. Well, Kristofferson was both.
Yeah, right.
But I didn't know that he didn't go to West Point to teach. He instead resigned his commission to go to Nashville to be a songwriter. And when he did that, his family disowned him. They were a military family, and his mother wrote him a scathing letter telling him about what a disappointment he'd always been, this, that, and the other. So you wonder why the guy drank a fifth of bourbon before every show. But so that found its way into the song we talked about earlier, Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Because that line, the whole thing about him, his mother.
Right.
And that's the thing. We don't want our kids to be artists. Mm-hmm. That might be a practical wish because usually being an artist means you're poor. Mm-hmm. And we don't want our kids to be poor. But there's also we see something second class in art. Mm-hmm. Even though we revere the people that make it as artists, mm-hmm. the people, the multitude who don't make it as big are not looked upon as fondly in our society. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's unique to the States. Probably not. I think, the Germans and the Irish, they support the arts.
The Russians.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Russians revere
here it's something you're not supposed to be.
Yeah. Maybe that comes back to your thing about the Industrial Revolution guys and stuff,
Could be a frontier mentality. You got to survive first. Mm-hmm. So maybe we come by it, honestly. I don't know. But mm-hmm. But I put Broken Freedom Song on the record just because I liked it. Mm-hmm. I listened to it years ago when it came out.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, and I love Ain't No Fun to Sing That Song No More. Oh, yeah. Because there's several songs that they're not all that fun to sing. That's the thing,
because Kristofferson was a devout Christian. Mm-hmm. So when I played the song live, I said, don't worry, I didn't find God. I'm still James. Mm-hmm. Kris wrote it.
Talking to James McMurtry about his life and his most recent release, The Black Dog and The Wandering Boy. What's next?
Next is a bunch of weekend gigs, a bunch of residency gigs, and get back on the road in January. Mm-hmm. Starting to work in Europe a little bit more again. I haven't really done that for the past 10 years, and mm-hmm. I did a one-off in the Netherlands this past weekend that went pretty well, and the agent's trying to get us something going in August of next year. So, mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that what's next is just find as many people to play to as possible anywhere in the world.
Okay,
that's what we got to do. That's our job.
I'm keeping that in mind, James. And how can people find or follow you?
Well, I do have a Facebook page. Mm-hmm. It's just for business only. Mm-hmm. And I've got a website, jamesmcmurtry.com, and I think I might be on Instagram. I don't manage that one myself. My son does most of my social media.
Curtis?
Because he understands it.
Yeah. And I want to remind everybody about your Continental Club shows.
Yes, Tuesday nights, full band downstairs in the Continental Club, and then Wednesday nights at 8:30, upstairs in the Continental Gallery solo. Mm-hmm. Sometimes if Betty Sue's in town, she usually sits in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But she's working out a lot more than I do these days. So
that's at the Continental Club in Austin, Texas on Congress Avenue, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking to James McMurtry. You're listening to Americana Podcast, the 51st State. I'm your host, Robert Earl Keen, and thank you so much, James.
Thank you, Robert.
I really appreciate it. It's great. And we'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. These conversations are what keep the spirit of Americana alive. Stories that remind us who we are, where we come from, and the songs that carry us through. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure and follow Americana Podcast on Instagram and Facebook and share it with a friend to help us grow. If you have questions or comments for the show, please email us at americanapodcast@robertearlkeen.com. And if you would like to make a donation, you can do so by going to our website, americanapodcast.com. You can find more interviews, behind-the-scenes stories, and full video episodes on our website, as well as the official Robert Earl Keen YouTube channel.
At this time, we would like to thank our guest, James McMurtry, and our host, Robert Earl Keen. Americana Podcast is brought to you by Keen Productions. Audio edited and mixed by Brett Brock. YouTube edited and assembled by Katie Cranbeer, with original music by Kim Warner. Please remember that you can go check out all of the video content on the Robert Earl Keen YouTube channel. That is where you're going to be able to watch this episode in full with James McMurtry. Until next time, let the music play.